Y'all see I got my little scarf on. It's giving Queen Charlotte, cause the wigs was just eating back to back to back. Like every wig she had this season, especially the short one. I don't know if y'all seen the short one with the little curl. Ooh, she ate. She slays every time. Period. What up, y'all? It's your girl Naya Athena, and welcome back to my channel. And today we are reviewing Bridgerton season 3, episode 3. Hello, we are over the halfway mark. All right, let's get right into it. So, first scene, we see Penelope walking into the same gardens that she just kissed Colin in not too long ago in episode 2. Yeah. And we see Colin meet her again. And then we see Colin just ends up basically proclaiming his love for her. Like, he can't forget the kiss, da 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 da. And they fall in love. And I'm like, oh, this is clearly not real. And I was right because Colin wakes up from that dream. Like, be for real. So now he's dreaming about her. And like I said, y'all, I'm not rooting for them. I'm not. Like, I just feel like at this point, like, he don't deserve her. And I'm going to keep saying it. Like, even though they're probably going to end up together. So then we see Lady Bridgerton, and of course she's still on the high because Francesca was just being complimented by the queen and pretty much is about to be the diamond, probably. We don't know yet, because, yeah. And Francesca's like, okay, like, whatever. She's very, like, modest, I guess you could say, about it. And then the Bridgerton family is talking to Colin, and they're basically telling him, like, oh, it's cool that you and Penelope are friends. And Louise is like, is it though? And so they kind of like, oh, okay, that's cool. So the Bridgertons like Penelope. Okay, they've always have, but Eloise don't because she know what she know. The next scene is the queen basically trying to figure out a suitor for Francesca because clearly that's who she wants. That's gonna be her diamond. And she's like, oh, what about Lord Devling? Now we only know a little bit about Lord Devling from when he was talking to Penelope in like episode 1 or 2. I don't remember which one. Probably both. Let's be for real. So then we see Lady Danbury, and she's pretty much just telling the queen, like, yeah, no, I have an unwanted visitor. And Penelope also gets a visitor because she gets a call, and it's Eloise. And so she's like, oh, my friend. Like, old friend. And I guess Eloise is basically like, oh, I guess you know how it feels now to have Whistledown write about you, da 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 da, considering she is Whistledown. But, Penelope is like, yeah, but it's her job, da da da. And she goes and says, she pretty much offers an olive branch to Eloise. And Eloise is like, no, I have other things to do, but, wish you the best. But she actually does tell her, like, I wish you the best with or without Colin's help. So, because at this point, everybody knows that Colin is helping her find a husband. So then we see them at some public event because it's always a public event. Like, it's society. Like, that's just what they do. And Colin pretty much finds Penelope again, and they're kind of awkward now after what happened. And Penelope claims that they can't, like, continue their lessons. And he's like, okay, yeah, but, like, why though? She was like, because, like, it's been written about, everybody know it's kind of awkward and they should just keep their distance. So Colin says, okay, I wish you the best, blah blah blah. But Penelope says, okay, yeah, you too. And then she also says, like, if she secures a proposal, it'll be because of him. So obviously that's sitting with Colin because now he over here dreaming about her, and it's like, oh, like, okay, do he really want that though? So then we see Lord Devling, and we see that he, like, I think a lot of people are looking at him now just because he is like one of the suitors that has a lot more status and stuff, even though he is a little strange to everybody. So he's very peculiar to people because he has a passion for birds and like nature, and he be traveling the world. He has passions for the natural ways of the world. Yeah, that's how you say that. So of course Cressida peeps him because Cressida is in her third season as well, so she need to find a suitor too. So she immediately sets her eyes on Lord Devling, and she's trying to flirt with him and stuff. But Cressida is not necessarily the same as She's pretty much the complete opposite of Lord Dublin. So Eloise tells Colin that she spoke to Penelope and apologized to her for pretty much telling everybody and ultimately making Whistledown right about it. And Colin just, he's like, all right, cool, thanks. But, obviously his mind is somewhere else. But Eloise is like, oh, okay, like, cool. And of course, we have Francesca in another corner anticipating that the queen will introduce her to someone because she's the sparkling potential diamond. So she's like anticipating that. And I guess Lady Bridgerton, her mother, is like, oh, you excited, da da da. Like, and she's like, I trust the queen's decision. Like, that's pretty much all she says. And the men are back pretty much treating Penelope like she doesn't exist because of the writing of Lady Whistledown. So then we go to the Kents, my faves. We go to the Kents, and of course they look amazing. They are stepping into their roles a little bit more. And we see that Lady Kent speaks to Colin and actually commends him for being such a good friend to Penelope. So everybody it's crazy because they're looking at Penelope like, oh, she's so desperate, she needed his help. But they looking at Colin like, oh, he's such a nice person. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, double standards. So, okay. I don't know. I don't remember what his name is because they don't say his name that often. Like, I see his face every now and then, but I dead don't know his name. But it's the other Bridgerton. So it's not Colin and it's not the Viscount. It's the one. I don't know if he's in the middle either. He's another brother child. But they do show him more in this next episode. So I do love the friendship that he has with Lady Danbury because he's trying to get away from the girls and he's like, okay, hey Lady Danbury, and she's like, oh well, since you're here, let's go on a stroll because yeah, and so they like friends and it's real cool. It's real cool to see every now and then. And so we see Penelope is talking to Lord Devling and she's like, I'm sure you've heard about what Whistledown wrote about me. And he like, I don't even read that. Like, I'll be in my own world, pretty much. And so that's why he didn't have no problem like seeking out a conversation with Penelope. And she's like, oh, okay. And she's like kind of just talking without thinking. And she's being very frank. And then she apologizes. But he's like, no, like, I actually like how frank you are. It's like pretty refreshing. And he likes her sense of individuality because he's an individual as well. He's very peculiar despite his high title and rank and stuff like that. So obviously Cressida speaks to Eloise about wanting to get at Lord Devling because she needs a suitor too, despite them being complete opposite people that probably would have nothing in common. Eloise is like, he's already talking to Penelope, like, what? And Cressida is like, she don't care because she needs a suitor too. Like, it's also her third season, and it's a cold world out here. She said, hey, you get it how you live it. So she gonna ask Eloise for help, and Eloise gonna agree to help her. So I'm like, Eloise, how you gonna wish your old friend the best and then help your new friend get the old friend's potential suitor? Like, what? Okay, I guess. But she was just like, I'm gonna just teach you a little bit about what Lord Devling likes, like as far as the birds and the nature and stuff. So I'm like, all right, I guess that's not too messy, but also, okay, like I get, okay. So, and we also see the Featherington sisters, like they over here drinking concoctions and stuff, trying to ensure that they gonna have a baby boy. Don't even know if they pregnant, just talking. But yeah. And then we see Colin come and check on Penelope again, and Penelope is like, she's well, and she's like, guess what? Lord Devling, like, he liked me, da da da, and he's asking her, like, do she like him? And she's like, well, I mean, it's early, but, he got a good character. He seemed like a cool person, and Colin is like, ooh, Colin is not here for it, which is, like, weird, because it's like, why wouldn't you be here for it, sir? You helped. So then we see Cressida, like we see like how she feels about the things that Lord Devling is passionate about. And Eloise is like, girl, it's gonna be hard to help you get him because you is not something that he like, y'all are completely two different people. But as they're talking, Lord Devling like peeps Penelope and calls her over to Eloise and Cressida. So it's kind of awkward because they all like, it's four of them and it's like, He literally, so in front of them, he asks Penelope, would she be down to join him on his travels because he travels the world. And she's like, yeah, I would love to. And then Cressida gonna jump in and say, oh, what was that bird you were telling me about, Eloise? And it was like some special bird that Lord Doubling like has been studying for years. So clearly that gained his attention. So they're at this point, the competition is clear. Like they looking at each other like, oh, okay, it's on and popping. So then we see Colin make it clear to the other guys who are like his friends in the society or whatever that he's done helping Penelope because they was kind of trying to like clown him a little bit, clown her too. But he like, no, I'm not even doing that no more. So chill. So then we see the Kents and they're happy, but they miss their old life still. They kind of yeah, they just miss their old life, and there's nothing wrong with that because society is very different from what they were used to. Then we see the same Bridgerton that is besties with Lady Danbury. We see him cross paths with Cressida's mother, and this is weird because we've only seen Cressida's mother a few times, but we've never seen her with like her husband. Like we've only seen her with Cressida. So we see the mom and they're in this like tent. So basically this event that they're at right now is like an engineering like hot air balloon event. So they're in this tent full of men that are discussing like different inventions and like engineering and why stuff won't work and why stuff will work and da 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 da. So when he turns and sees her, he's like, "What is you doing?" Like he don't expect to see a woman in the engineering tent, with all the, math and things. And she like, "Oh, you think I'm not smart enough to be here?" So then she pretty much says her little piece, gets the little invention to work, and she's actually very smart. So he like, "Oh, okay, like let me chill then." And then we see Francesca meet the Lord who the Queen introduces her to, which is somebody of very high rank, obviously, because the Queen know him. And honestly, he ugly. I ain't gonna lie. Like he don't look like he would fit with Francesca, and she's just like going along with it because it's the Queen. Like she feel like that's what she's supposed to do. That's what all the diamonds do. So I don't know. So after that day, after that event, we see Penelope go back to her room, and she's obviously like losing the battle between her and Cressida of wooing Lord Debling. So she's kind of stressed about that because now she got a whole another issue. Mind y'all, they had a hot air balloon event, right? So the hot air balloon, like it gets very, very windy and it starts to be a lot of complications. And one of the Featheringtons get caught sneaking, one of the sisters get caught sneaking with their husband or whatever. So she ends up pushing him like back and untying one of the ropes that held the hot air balloon down, which caused the hot air balloon to start tipping over. And it was about to hit people. So of course Colin and them jump into action to like try to pull the balloon back. It's a big balloon, y'all. It take about 8 to 10 people. And it almost, I guess Penelope like tripped or something, and so it almost like hit her. And you see Lord Debling like get on the ground with her, which I don't know why he would do that. Like, why wouldn't you just like get her? Like, why would you get on the ground with her to protect her? I guess. But Colin and the rest of the people end up like pulling it back just in time before it hit her. So it was like kind of an awkward situation. And then we see Cressida play victim, like, "Oh, I got hurt too." Didn't even get hurt, but so Lord Debling goes back to her. So it's kind of like and that's why Penelope ends up going to her room after the whole situation is like pressed because it's like, girl, what? Like, dang, gotta compete now for real, for real. And she feeling the heat now. So they're playing "Nah, no, I go come and have fun tonight. Be I know have fun tonight" on the violin. And it sounds good, I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. We see Lady Bridgerton meet a man. We don't know who this man, where he come from. I ain't never seen him, but he meet a man, and they talk. They have a little nice little conversation. So then we're at another ball. Cressida and her mom are being reduced by the husband, I guess. I don't know if the mother is actually with the husband, but I know that like she is telling her like, "Oh yeah, your father is cutting our allowances. Like we need to hurry up and get you a man," like pretty much. So I don't know like the extent of that relationship, but just knowing that he's still around, but maybe not around in the way that they want him to be. I don't know. But we see Penelope see Cressida, and then they like pretty much see each other and race to get to Lord Debley, and Cressida wins because she got her own issues. And Eloise tries to relate to the other girls at the event, but they're like all talking about weddings, and you know she don't want to talk about that. So she like, never mind. So Francesca's talking to the queen's suitor that she introduced to her, and both of them come from huge families, like they have a lot in common in that sense. But he's like, yeah, like I love my big family, it's always constant chatter, and I want to have a big family like that. And Francesca's like, my big family is cool, but it's too much chatter, like I don't want to hear all of that all the time. So she kind of just expresses how she always felt a little overlooked because of her big family. And they both kind of, agree to disagree on that. Well, I don't know if she like openly disagrees with him, but you could tell on her face she's like, oh, yikes. And then we see the man that Lady Bridgerton met not too long ago. We literally see that man is actually Lady Danbury's brother, and that is the unwanted visitor that she was talking about this whole time. So after the conversation that Francesca has, she just like steps away from the whole event. But then another man approaches her and just kind of approaches next to her, and she's like, I don't really want to talk. And he's like, okay, then let's not talk. So they just don't talk. They just sit in silence together. And she is very appreciative of it. So she's like, you know what? You'll have to excuse me. And then she just goes into the garden. And it looks like she wants him to follow, but I don't think he does. So Cressida's mom is impressed by the other Bridgerton because they've been talking at this point on the low. And I'm confused because I'm like, is she trying to secure another man, or like is she just free to do what she wants? Like I don't understand. Like, but she claims that she was married, but that he died. But I'm like, okay, so who reduced your allowances? But whatever, I'm confused. But they dance together and they get along very swell. And then we see Lord Garrington, which is a random person that be at the bar. He warns the new Lord Kent that he can't live two lives and that you can't be in society and at this bar. Like you can't do both. It just doesn't look good. And so of course that's not good news for him. We see that Penelope seeks Lord Devling and admits that she wasn't honest with him before and that she was just trying to be what she thought that he would want. But she's like, I'm gonna just be real with you. Like, I don't necessarily enjoy nature. I like to be looking at nature through the window. I like gossip. I like reading. I like the indoors. Like, this is who I am. Either you're gonna like it or you're gonna not gonna like it. And he is actually pleased. And he's like, you know what? I'm glad that you're being honest because I don't want nobody that's just like me. Like, I want somebody that is gonna embrace their own individuality. Like, I want them to be different like me. So, you know what I'm saying? So, bag secure, period. At this point, she in there. And I'm sure Cressida is pissed about it because Eloise finally goes to talk to Cressida after finally catching her alone. And Cressida is just like super disappointed. So, I mean, hey, you tried, but you failed. So then Colin asks his mother, Lady Bridgerton, what she's actually trying to do for Francesca. Like, what does she really want out of this? And she just says she wants Francesca to find passion and love like she wants all her kids to find because that's what she was able to find. And he was like, okay, well, what about friendship? And she's like, yeah, well, friendship too, but that's a lot more rare. But, you got to just be brave enough to ask if that's what you want. And he's like, okay. Like, he's low-key asking for advice, but, like, he's asking for it through his sister, trying to, like, yeah. So Colin clearly has feelings for Penelope at this point because he over here talking about friendship and dreaming about her and stuff. So he goes to approach Penelope and looks like he wants to say something, but I guess Lord Dudley interrupts for like a dance. So I'm here for it. I'm here for Lord Dudley and Penelope because I just don't want her to be with Colin. Like I just don't like it. I'm sorry. And so a lot of people can't believe that they're actually dancing though, like Lord Dudley and Penelope, because everybody was looking at Lord Dudley because, he's a suitor. And they're like, oh, like, ain't no way. And I think they're playing a song by Olivia Rodrigo. I think that's who it was. I don't really remember, but yeah, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like the songs don't even be fitting the situations. And I'll be like, why did y'all think that this was. Y'all just trying to be fit. Y'all just trying to be fit, fun, and friendly. But, anyways, we see Colin looking shook. Like, Colin is like, oh. And then that's where we ended. That is episode 3, right? Yeah, that's episode 3, y'all. And I will see y'all literally in a couple seconds because I'm about to do episode 4 so we can wrap this up so we can get ready to talk about our final episode that is coming out soon and very soon. So, with that being said, I hope you guys leave a like, share, comment, subscribe, tell a friend, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.